So, a little clarification on the surgery for those who may not know all the background or whatever. Um, Elective cosmetic surgery is not my thing, and the blepharoplasty was not the primary purpose of this surgery. This started with a super bad sinus infection in December, which meant I was absolutely going to have sinus surgery. And that snowballed into, well, my septum is deviated and my septum needs to get fixed to help with the breathing, because breathing's important, as I can tell right now, because I can't breathe through my nose from all the bleeding going on in here right now. Um, and I had what's called an alar retraction, meaning the left nostril was unusually high. And that was for two reasons. One, back when I was a teenager, my mother made me get a nose job. She actually made me get a nose job and a chin implant when I was in 11th grade because she said I was ugly and no man would want me. So that uh, surgery created a lot of scar tissue for whatever reason and retracted this nostril. So this nostril was always higher, and I was always miserable about that, but didn't deal with it surgically. Then, when I had three sinus surgeries prior to the one yesterday, over time, they exacerbated the situation. My nose became more crooked with each sinus surgery. And in the last sinus surgery in California, the surgeon had done a graft here to help me breathe, and that graft created more scar tissue, which pulled the nostril up even higher. So, with this surgeon, when we were talking about, well, you've got to fix the deviated septum and you got to do the whole tip of my nose anyway, what if we also fix the nostril while we're at it? Because we're already doing surgery. I wouldn't have done surgery if it was just the nostril. I would have just had what I refer to as my Jekyll and Hyde face, my pretty side and my ugly side. Because I always hated this side. I always felt it was super ugly on this side. So, because we were already doing the septum, why not? So that's why the cartilage from this ear got involved, because it was to uh, lengthen, to stretch out the scar tissue that's in here to pull the nostril back to its proper position. I would not have done that surgery were it not for the fact that we were already doing sinus surgery and septum surgery. The eyes. I had done my upper eyelids 4 years ago, not for cosmetic reasons, but for vision reasons, because my peripheral vision was diminished because I had hooded lids. My lids were super heavy. It also made me feel tired because they were super heavy, but I looked tired, I felt tired, and my field of vision was diminished. So I had the upper eyelids done 4 years ago, not for vanity, but for vision. So the circles under my eyes were not from being tired, not from being old. I've had them for years. They're genetic, these big puffy bags. No matter how much sleep I would get, I had these big bags under my eyes. That was for vanity, but not for pretty vanity as much as for not looking tired. I really did not like looking tired. It's bad enough feeling tired because I have fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome and a whole bunch of other maladies. It was that I look tired. So I said to the surgeon who's doing the nose stuff, let's do the lower bleph. He said, well, your upper eyelids could use some tightening. I said, well, I just had that done 4 years ago. I'm not really that unhappy with my upper eyelids. And he did the peer pressure, which I fell for because I'm very vulnerable to doctor peer pressure. Um, and so he said, well, while we're at it, let's do the upper eyelids too. And I said, okay. So I consented to that, paid the full amount, paid everything up front. And as I was in pre-op yesterday, and he came in with the consent papers, and he's going through the risks and advantages and all of the PARQ conference he's required to do, he said to me, well, I do want you to have realistic expectations that the upper bleph may not really improve very much, and I think you would benefit more from getting a brow lift at some point in the future. Boy, did that fucking piss me off. And I couldn't say it pissed me off because he's about to operate on my face and I didn't want to be confrontational with him. But the upsell And the bait and switch kind of pissed me off because I didn't go in there for an upper bluff. I didn't think I needed an upper bluff. I agreed to the upper bluff because he somehow had convinced me, well, while we're doing the lower, let me make the upper look better. And then pulls on me yesterday. Well, I think the brow lift is going to really solve your eyelid problem, which, boy, am I so fucking pissed off about that. Anyway, the point being of this long rant, I'm not a cosmetic surgery person, and I feel like I'm being defensive saying that, but it's true. The nose job and chin that were done as a teenager were imposed on me because I was told I was ugly, which affected my self-esteem, which affected my feeling ugly, really. My whole life, I've always felt ugly. And so, uh, I'm going in for the sinuses, then the septum's getting fixed, and then the retracted nostril, which, like I said, has always bugged me, was getting fixed. I would never have done the bleph were it not for already going in for the other stuff. I would not have gotten anything done on my eyes. It was more like, well, I'm already going to be in there. I'm going to be under anesthesia. Why not? Let's get it taken care of. So it all started with sinus stuff. And my goal at the end of all of this is to breathe, to not be blowing out green gunk all the time, to not have the disease going on in my sinuses, to not look tired, hopefully with the eye thing. But I'm not doing the fucking brow lift. No, I'm not doing a brow lift. First of all, I'm a bangs person, and I don't need more incisions. And if my upper eyelids are a little droopy, fuck it. Who cares? That's not really a priority for me. If anything, I'd care more about my teeth getting crooked with age. These teeth down here are crowding, and I'm self-conscious about that way more than I'm self-conscious about my upper eyelids. So that very defensive rant, hopefully that put to bed some of the conjecture.